Well, we're going to begin this morning with a little bit of show and tell. This framed poster has been hanging in the foyer of our church for over a decade now. And it says, "Welcome to a progressive Christian church." And among the things it says on the poster is, "We are a church that welcomes all people, including agnostics and questioning skeptics." I really like that. I certainly know quite a few agnostics and questioning skeptics here in our community of Saugatuck and Douglas. Some of them are my friends, and I have invited them over the years to come and worship with us on Sunday. Only one of them took me up on that offer. That was a few years ago. He came to worship with us in the summer, and he said, "Sal, I am so grateful. It was such a wonderful welcome and such an inclusive message and beautiful, uplifting music, but it's a little too religious for me." And I didn't take that personally. I know my friend. He is an agnostic. He's also a scientist. And over the years, he has given me lots of books by agnostic scientists, people like Richard Dawkins and Carl Sagan and Neil deGrasse Tyson. And as I read those books, I'd read Carl Sagan said, "The cosmos is within us. We are made of star stuff. We are the way for the universe to know itself." And then Neil deGrasse Tyson said, "We are in the universe. We are part of the universe. But more important than those two facts is that the universe is within us. Each one of us are little universes." I love those two quotes. But no offense to Carl Sagan and Neil deGrasse Tyson, but someone else said that already. 2,000 years before they lived. Jesus said, "The kingdom of heaven is within you." He said, "You are the light of the world." Do you understand? The cosmos is within you. You're made of star stuff. That's what Jesus was saying. Now, my agnostic scientist friend can hear that from Carl Sagan and Neil deGrasse Tyson, but he cannot hear that coming from Jesus. Now, I have other friends in the community who don't come to our church because they describe themselves not as agnostic, but as spiritual, but not religious. And one of those friends practices yoga. And I was talking to her about her yoga practice, and she said, "Oh, it makes me feel so peaceful, so centered. It makes me feel one with all that is." And I said, "Oh, that's what I experience in prayer and meditation." And she said, "Oh, no, I'm not communicating with some old man up in the clouds like you are." And I said, "I'm not doing that." Now, she gave me a book. It was on the New York Times bestseller list. It's called "The Universe Has Your Back." And in the book, it says things like, "The universe is always for you, never against you. And the universe is always in constant communication with you." But you know, I could replace in that book, every time they mention universe, I could replace it with God. God is the universe. So what I think is that my agnostic scientist friend and my spiritual but not religious friend and I, we're all talking about the same thing. We're all talking about the same power and presence. We're just using different words for it, different names. Now, I understand why the name God can be problematic for people, especially people who think we're talking about an old man up in the clouds, people who think that we as Christians believe in fairy tales and that we don't believe in science. But as we heard in our words of integration and guidance this morning, science and religion do not have to be mutually exclusive. They are two sides of the same coin. They both do the same thing. They help us with this human impulse to look at the world with awe and wonder, to contemplate the meaning of life. So yes, science has proven evolution, and science has proven the Big Bang, but that doesn't disprove God as the creator. So, for example, we can say that we know how the universe was created, but we don't know the why. Why was it created? Well, we as Christians contemplate that why, and we refer to it as God, the birther of the cosmos. You know, that's how Jesus referred to God. Those of you who have been coming to our church for a number of years, you know that a few times a year we say the Lord's Prayer here, but the Aramaic translation, because Jesus didn't speak English, he spoke Aramaic. And Aramaic scholars have taken the Lord's Prayer and they have translated it back to the original Aramaic. And the first line, which says, "Our Father who art in heaven," in English, what Jesus was really saying was, "Birther of the cosmos, whose light dwells within us." That's what "Our Father who art in heaven" means. That's what Jesus was saying. That's how he was teaching us to pray. Birther of the cosmos, whose light dwells within us. Jesus, 2,000 years ago, discovered his oneness. He became one with the one. And then he made it his mission to teach us to discover that same oneness within ourselves. That's why we refer to Jesus as the Christ. I've told you before, Christ is not Jesus' last name. As we heard in our readings this morning, it says Christ was the firstborn of all creation. Before the universe was existed, there was the Christ. That wasn't Jesus. The Christ existed billions of years before Jesus of Nazareth was even born. At the Big Bang, when God said, "Let there be light," there was the Christ. The Christ is the presence, the power, the light and light of God that Jesus discovered was within him, and he came to tell us that it is within us too. So, my friends, we can be people who believe in science, but we can also believe in that spark of God, the birther of the cosmos, that is within us. Neil deGrasse Tyson said, "When most people look up at the stars, they feel small because the universe is so big. But when I look up at the stars," he said, "I feel big because the same atoms that are in those stars are within me." That, my friends, is what I think the purpose of religion should be. To remind us of our divine magnificence, that God's presence and power is with us and within us. And so that's what I want to invite you to do on this week that we're celebrating the cosmos, the universe. As I want you to find time each and every day to contemplate the stars, to look at a sunset, to feel one with all that is, to find time to attune yourself, to connect with the presence, the power, the light, and the life of God that dwells with us, within us, and as us. Namaste. Hello, everybody. This is Sal Sapienza, and I'm so excited to share with all of you that I've written a brand new book. The book is called Childish Thinking: How the Church Keeps Us Stuck in Sunday School. Now, the title Childish Thinking comes from Christian scripture, where we hear that if we wish to grow in spiritual understanding, then we must let go of childish ways of thinking. And yet so many Christians today, even after years of Bible study and Sunday services, still have a very elementary understanding of their faith. They still understand God as some old man with a long gray beard. They think heaven is a place up in the clouds with pearly gates, that the devil is some red guy with horns and a pitchfork, and that hell is a fiery place below the earth. Those are things that we tell children. None of those descriptions appear anywhere in the Bible. And so in Childish Thinking, I try to dispel many of those misnomers, and I explore topics such as God, Jesus, heaven, hell, sin, prayer, and resurrection from the higher perspectives of ancient Christian mystics and contemporary progressive theologians. After each chapter, there are prayers for quiet contemplation and questions for personal reflection and journal writing. Come learn how you can let go of old ways of thinking and begin to see things with new eyes. Come and learn how you can finally graduate from Sunday school. The book is available now on Amazon, and you can read the entire introduction at childishthinking.faith.